Well, we knew when we reduced sodium in cheese we were going to change the flavor of cheese. So the first thing we wanted to do was we wanted to make sure we came up with a product that people felt tasted really good, because it's #1 in Sargento that the product has to taste good or we wouldn't launch it. So the first two items that we looked at were actually sodium replacers. And the two sodium replacers that we studied very closely were ammonium chloride and potassium chloride. In studying this, we had to make cheese with these replacers in the cheese, and when we made the cheese we then would have to leave it to mature for about anywhere from a month to 2 months before we could do a sensory test on it, because cheese, when it isn't made the day you make it, cheese takes another month or two to develop flavor, and that flavor has to be a part of the cheese overall flavor. So we have to, when we're researching with cheese, we have to make the cheese, wait, do the sensory, get the results and go back. The sensory challenges were that the replacers just were very difficult to overcome. The public are sensitive to them, and not only that, but we found that the more people tasted some of the potassium chlorides, the more sensitive they became, and even if we reduced the amounts to very tiny amounts, they were still able to pick it up. And so we felt that we had to get away from this area if we were going to solve the problem. So we went back and looked at how you could make cheese with just lower salt. Well, salt is an integral part of cheese, and it does numerous jobs within cheese. It's not just a flavor enhancer, but it also controls bacteria in cheese, and it also has a very big effect on the ripening and the continuous ripening of cheese as it gets older. So if you don't have enough salt there, you can run into problems later on as the cheese ages, because, as you know, cheese is a fermented product that has living bacteria in it all its life. So it continues to age, it continues to produce flavors. And these flavors have to be in balance, and once you remove the salt, you have a tendency to disturb that balance over time. We came up with a number of procedures for changing the way the cheese is made, so that we could alter the amount of the proportion of salt to the other ingredients within the cheese. And in doing this, we were able to develop a cheese which we have now patented and we have patent pending on, which allows us to make a really interesting, good flavored cheese with 25% reduction in salt. So that's quite a reduction in sodium, and we hope by reducing to a small extent the level of sodium in cheese that we can, help that effort.